While we're waiting for our last two to join us, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Callie Wright, and I'm part of the LifeShare support team, and I will be leading your training today. I also have with me.
My name is Kim Hartnett, and I am a client experience specialist with LifeShare as well, and I will be moderating the chat today.
So we'll just go ahead and dive right in. So the whole point of this webinar is to think about other types of calendars that you could use to increase your community efficiency. So if you have questions about just calendars in general, please don't hesitate to ask those questions as well. But this is to get you thinking about other types of calendars that may be helpful to your community. So I'm going to go through 6 different LifeShare calendars that could be used by your community, and then we'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into each one. So the first one is transportation calendars. If you have a bus, a shared car, those are great calendars to keep track of those, or even to do appointment scheduling for medical appointments if you offer that type of offering at your community. The second one is volunteer calendars. So if you have volunteers coming into your community for a variety of reasons, you can schedule them on the calendar. They can also log into the app when they're not on campus and see when their volunteer hours are scheduled. So those are nice options. The third one, the CCRC without walls. So this is for those communities that do a lot of community offerings where they invite community members to come be a part of their activities or have special activities for community events. And so they may have a separate calendar than your typical AL calendar or your typical HC calendar. The fourth one, employee break room calendars. So you can create these calendars with employee deadlines, or maybe there are specific employee events going on. You can put those on the calendars, print them for your break rooms, that kind of thing. The fifth one is therapy or fitness room calendars. That's an option that you can track just specific fitness activities or therapy activities. Maybe they're group therapy activities that they're offering. And then the sixth one is a theater room calendar. Maybe you have a schedule of different movies that are going to be playing at different times on different days, and you want to keep that separate from your normal activities calendar. A theater room calendar is something that you can have as an option. And we do have some clients that actually have community shares posted right outside of their theater rooms to show like movie trailer clips, do fun facts about the movie that's showing, that kind of thing. So a calendar is something that goes hand in hand with that additional community share as well. So just a couple quick notes about additional calendar units. Each additional calendar has a monthly fee. However, if you get an additional community share unit, that calendar comes along with that community share. If it's a calendar only and it's not tied to the device, the fee is a little bit smaller per month than adding an additional device. So the calendar fee is a lot smaller than just adding a whole device. Calendar-only units still come with access to the mobile app. So if you decide to just add a calendar-only unit, so maybe you're just tracking your theater room calendar, they do get access to that mobile app. You'll still be able to customize your PIN for that specific unit. And with the calendar unit, you can still send reminder phone call notifications and still have access to your other residents in your campus. Any questions so far?
So Kevin is wanting to know, is the transport calendar live where one can update it often?
Yeah, so the transportation calendar works much like your other calendars where you have to just be able to have a login. You can make it so that people only have a login for the transportation calendar, so they're not messing with your other calendaring units, and then they can just click in there and add in anything that they need to be able to add in, like maybe add an appointment time, that kind of thing. They can add that on there. It will update. They just have to republish the specific calendar that they're wanting for it to take place. But if it's on the mobile app, those changes automatically happen. So, yeah. So if they're checking the mobile app, as soon as you put that that event and click save, they will see it refresh there. Good question, Kevin. Any other questions about calendars so far? It's nice. We'll start to go into some of the other ones and we'll talk about the specific calendars and some pointers that we have for them. So with the transportation calendar, so it allows you to get rid of that paper scheduling book that you may have at your front desk and go a little bit more digital. You can have more people accessing it. You don't have to have someone going and finding that one book. They can all be accessing it from their computers if you give them a specific login, and you can kind of control who has access to that login to be able to schedule. So you can schedule your bus use, your campus car use, use your check boxes to be able to say like, okay, I want this also. So you may be able to schedule an activity. So maybe you're doing a shopping outing and you're putting it on your AL calendar, but you can also check for it to go on the transportation calendar as well at the same time, so that you're not having to put that event in twice. You're saying, okay, well, it's going on my AL calendar, but I also am going to need transportation for that. I'm going to need the bus to be able to go shopping, so you can schedule that in that time so that everyone knows that bus is taken at that time. You can print the daily, weekly, and monthly schedule. So not only can the bus driver access the daily schedule on their phone or even look days in ahead at what has been scheduled, you can print those daily, weekly, and monthly schedules for them. Any questions about transportation calendars? All right, we'll move on to the next one. Volunteer calendars. We all know volunteers are very important in your community, and it's important to have them organized. You may have people that like to come on certain times of the week, certain days of the week, so it's awesome if they have a smartphone to be able to use the mobile app for access to the schedules that you help create. So you can easily print the schedules for them as well and have them available to take home. The next one, CCRC Without Walls calendar. So this is to help you cater information specific to those that are living outside your community. So these may be people that will be residents one day, or maybe they come and have friends in the facility, but they are still participating in some of your activities. So the mobile access to community offerings at the campus is an important one, or you can also print separate calendars to invite them to certain events. They may not be coming to all your events that are on that calendar, so you really just want to highlight the ones that they're going to be a part of. Any questions on those last two calendars? Okay, we're just cruising along, guys. The employee break room calendar. Oh, there's Kim. You can print monthly calendars to hang up in the break room. And the mobile app login is something that I highly suggest really taking advantage of on the employee break room. It can show the important announcements and information about events and benefits, any of those HR items that are so important to make sure that your employees are knowing and knowing about. That's a great place to be able to put those in there. Okay, therapy or fitness room calendars. So with therapy and fitness room calendars, it really can highlight your fitness class offerings on a unique calendar. We can even create activity types to kind of code the types of activities. Maybe they're, more the low impact, higher impact, cardio. You can create those activity types to really make your calendar unique and help people make the best offering or the best choice of your offerings for them. With theater and movie room calendars, it can really help you highlight those movie show times and schedules. Any questions on those? So just to kind of recap, I'm going to go back. So the types of calendars that we went through were transportation calendars, volunteer calendars, CCRC Without Walls calendars, employee break room calendar, therapy or fitness room calendars, theater and movie room calendars. So, any questions on those calendars before we go into some of the pro tips for making LifeShare calendars your own? All right. So some pro tips for making your LifeShare calendars your own are the ability to have themed or branded headers. Some of your networks have specific headers that they want you to use, but if you're using a non-traditional calendar like your theater calendar, or maybe it's a volunteer calendar, you may have a little bit more liberty with those type of calendars because it's not a mandated calendar from your network office. So we can do themed ones based on your logo, or based on like the time of year that are like more seasonal, but we can also do branded headers that are more based on your logo and your branding colors. You can incorporate activity types. Use your empty square announcements. So at the beginning and the end of the month, wherever there are empty squares, depending on where the month starts, which day of the week, take advantage of those empty squares to really make the announcements and tell a story of things that are going on your calendar and draw attention to certain events. We can also do some daily calendar customizations. So just ask us if you need some larger font, you want some color changes. Feel free to reach out to our support team and we'll be happy to help you figure out how we can best serve you with your daily calendar needs. If it's like a transportation calendar, you don't necessarily need the birthday section showing on there, so that's something that we can remove as well. So we'll send this to you, and there are just a bunch of different resources that have to do with calendaring and some of the things that we talked about today. So there is a PDF about how to customize your community access pin, especially if you're going to be using the mobile app in order to help access your different types of calendars. There's a couple of videos about the transportation calendar, one just about our calendaring feature in general, one about activity types, and then a more recent one about what monthly calendar customizations are available to you. So we'll send that out to you so that when you have some time, if you are interested in some of those topics, you can take a look at some of those videos. They're usually about 2 minutes or less. Any questions so far? Do you have any additional questions maybe about calendars or calendar generation that you want me to log in and show you how to do specific things? I'm happy to go ahead and go to the login and kind of pull up a calendar and answer any questions that you guys might have about a calendar. Or even any questions that you guys have about anything else. We're happy to answer those while we have you here today. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat box if you have those. Notifications. Good question, Norma. So with notifications, the first step to notifications is getting your resident census imported into the system, and that's usually housed under the residents and staff section. When you expand, you'll see your rooms, the resident's name, and then their phone number in the system. So once that's put in there, and we're happy as a support team to help you be able to do that, we just need your latest resident census, and we'll put those in for you the first time, and then you just have to kind of manage this section with move in and move outs, and we'll teach you how to do that. Once that's in, the way that you set up your notifications is if you go to like a specific day, like today, and you go to, an activity like Senior Fit Club, it'll have you scroll down to the very bottom where it says Reminder, and you'll want to check the phone call and text message. You can designate how many minutes before the start that you want that phone call and text message to go out. You have the ability to build specific groups, or you can even have groups like assisted living or memory care, and that would be all your residents for that one. Or you can even choose specific residents that you want to be able to receive that phone call notification. If it's a repeating activity and you save it, every time this activity repeats, that notification will go out, but it's only tied to this specific activity. So how the notification goes out is it will call 30 minutes ahead of time and say, like, this is the Oaks Senior Living. It'll say that this is the Oaks Senior Living calling to remind you that, and it'll read the title up here that says Senior Fit Club will begin in 30 minutes at 10 o'clock a.m. So they'll get that phone call at 9:30. Any questions about those notifications, Norma? Perfect, Kevin. I'm glad you're interested in that transportation calendar. So, Julie, yes, if you do like a calendar only option, usually it is an additional cost. But it's a lot cheaper than just adding an additional community share.
Norma's going to email her resident list.
Perfect.
And Kevin would like to know, when utilizing phone call reminder to residents, what will the caller ID look like for the resident?
So it'll look like an out-of-state number, but we use the same number every time. So what they can do is after that first phone call, they can program it in their phone to say like that it is, you're just the notification system, and save it as a contact so that when it comes up, it's not something that they're going to be like, "Ooh, I don't want to answer just because, I don't know this number." So what we can do is we can also work with you to get you that number so that you can let residents know, and they can actually put that number in ahead of time before you start using notifications. And if notifications is something you're really interested in, we do have resources to be able to have those conversations with your residents and have them kind of opt in to those notification systems. So yeah, so we can get you the number ahead of time for the notifications. And like I said, we just encourage you to put it in your phone. So like when I set myself up for notifications, I have it in as LifeShare notifications. They might want to put it in as activity notifications because they're not going to know that it's coming from LifeShare. They're going to think it's coming from the campus. Any other questions about anything in admin that you guys want to go over while you have us here? So if they don't pick up, it tries to do a delay where it does try to leave a voicemail. Unfortunately, different voicemails behave differently, so sometimes it might get a little bit cut off, but it does attempt to leave a voicemail. But if the notification goes out and they're actually on the phone and they don't have like a second line or things like that, it will give the system a busy signal and the phone call will not go through. It doesn't continue to keep trying. It'll only try that one time. So if you have a resident that's consistently not receiving the notifications even though they've signed up for them, reach out to us because we can look in our logs and see, oh, you know what, there was a busy signal this time, they didn't answer this time, and we can kind of figure out what the issue is. Or maybe they even have a wrong phone number that was put into the system, or they don't have the area code quite right, that kind of thing. So it does try to leave a voicemail though. Are there other topics that you want to see featured during the monthly webinars? Go ahead and give us those ideas. We love to hear them. Next month, we are going to be talking about the mobile app. So that's something that we're going to be diving into next month, but we're always looking to add to our webinar topics, and we want to make sure that we're addressing things that you guys want to know more about. So please put those ideas in the group chat box. And as I said, we do have our next one. It's scheduled for April 9th, and we're going to be talking about leveraging the power of the mobile app. I absolutely just love our mobile app and love all the opportunities that it can provide for your community, whether it's marketing or with your other ones.
We have another question from Mindy. Any changes coming to the dailies?
Oh, Mindy, if you are not a fan of the way that the dailies look, give me a call. Let's chat about what some of your options are to change maybe the layout or what colors are even on there. If it's something that have to do with the text, yeah, just give me a call. It's 317-825-0320, and then just do extension 1, and we'll be happy to talk with you and work with you on those dailies. The dailies we have a little bit more flexibility on than the monthlies. A lot more real estate there. Yes, I love the mobile app. I'm glad you guys are excited, and it's never too early to RSVP, so if you are interested in that, let us know. We'll go ahead and send you the calendar link. Thank you again, and we hope you join us for our next webinar on April 9th. I'll pull that back up on the screen. If you're interested in the mobile app, that's a great one to attend.